That's why I'm telling you. That's why I need co-hosts. I cannot do this by myself. All right. Well, welcome to the Pet Industry Entrepreneurs Marketing Blab number 2. They did the whole thing all over again. And, we're going to be carrying on from where we left off last on Wednesday. Last Wednesday we had a great discussion about books, about your story, about how to begin putting your information that you're going to put into your book. I think we ended talking about a 10 by 10. We didn't go too far into it. So we'll make sure and try to hit that towards the end when we start talking about media. So you guys don't let me forget when we're talking about media that we're going to talk about the 10 by 10 using video and that kind of stuff. So today we're going to talk about the 3 probably most important things that I learned in my business, and that's to know my market. Right. Know my market.
I'm using my sign language skills.
Right. Create the message that speaks directly to my market. And then what media am I going to use to, again, reach my market? And so that's very, very important. So I want to talk about, I'm going to open up with market and kind of explain at least how I understand it to be. And hopefully you two can help me in. Who's calling in here? Let me see who's calling in. Who's my...
I think that's your guest, right?
Oh, is it?
How about Jay Lieber, 118?
Is that your special guest?
Yep, it just doesn't say. Well, I'm gonna save you, Jeff, for 1 second. So stay there in the calling in position. Hey, how do I turn you guys into my co-host? How did I do that last time?
You can right mouse click on our names.
What if I don't have a mouse?
What are you on?
I'm on a laptop with a.
You don't have a mouse?
No.
Trackball, your touch point, you have some pointing device on your.
Yeah, if you click on our names, I don't think you have to right mouse. I think you just click on our names, and there should be a way to make us a host.
Oh, there we go. I got it.
See, I knew you could do it.
Oh, I'm special now. Oh, and now I'm no longer.
Oh, there we go.
Wait a minute. All right.
Stop it.
He can give it, and he can take it away.
Yes. He giveth and he taketh away.
All right. So sorry guys, as we're doing this live.
And is your special guest Jay Lieber 118?
Jeff.
All right. So she is calling in. So let's take a look. He is calling in. No, he is not calling in. Nobody is. It said one person was. Oh, there it was. Let's get them on here. Jeff is coming on board. Hopefully, as we speak.
He's pulsating.
It's always that anticipation right before they appear.
Yes.
Yeah. So why is it an egg if they don't have a picture there? I'm just kind of curious.
Because they're new and they haven't put a picture up on their Twitter or their Blab profile.
I get it. Like they're not yet hatched. That's why.
I guess it's Twitter, so it's the Twitter symbol.
I get it. All right.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So it says he's on air, but he's not showing up. This is kind of like you yesterday.
I know. Very odd. Hey, Jeff, can you talk? Maybe we can hear you.
Audio only. It says poor internet.
All right, Jeff, can we hear you?
Guys hear me? Yes. Hey, Andy.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
Well, we're just getting ready to talk about how you speak to your market. But before we do that, what I want to do is hear about how first we're going to have to learn what your product is. So you're going to have to tell us all about your product, but then tell us about how your crowdfunding efforts are going for today. So this is Jeff. He has a great new product. I found him in Del Mar at a pet expo. And if you go on Falco Canine Academy's Facebook page, you can see videos of that product. So Jeff, go ahead and tell everybody who's watching what your product is.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can't see my video right now.
No, it says you have a poor internet signal.
Sorry about that. The Blab newbie.
We are all, at least I am. I know and Everett is too.
Don't worry, it's what you say that's going to matter anyway. So
yeah, go ahead and start telling us about what you're selling right now.
Sure. So we just launched the Hurricane Ring Launcher. It's a dog toy that's it shoots a ring over 100 feet.
Nice.
Can you guys hear me? I hear like an echo. Can you hear me all right?
There's a little bit of an echo, but go ahead.
Just keep going. You're doing
great. But yeah, so this toy was basically invented using like the aerodynamics of an airplane wing, which makes it gravity defying and shoot over 100 feet using a slingshot launcher. And
Does it shoot water?
You can use it in a variety of ways, but the main coolest thing is that you get the dog outside and running and exercising. So yeah, it was nice to meet you, Andy, a couple weeks ago, and and your son likes it more than the dog too.
Yeah, my son was part of their demonstration team there at the Pet Expo. He was doing I thought he was doing a good job, but the dogs really do like it though. I've got a German Shepherd that I've tested on, which is my German Shepherd. We had a lab that was a bed bug detection dog there at the expo who just the very first launch chased it down, picked it up. And then today I took a video of a narcotics detection dog, a Labrador Retriever, a black one. And first launch, the dog went crazy and would not stop. I think the dog would have died if we did not.
Hey, Andy, do you have a website that we could put in the chat so people could look at it?
Yeah, go ahead and if you can give that. Actually, let me give you. So tell as Jeff, why don't you tell us about how your Kickstarter is going today?
Sure. So for those that aren't familiar with Kickstarter, it's a platform where you can launch a brand new product or brand. And so today was our first day that we've ever launched to the market and have the Hurricane for sale. And we've had a pretty awesome day. Basically on Kickstarter, you have 30 days to try to hit a financial goal. And our goal is $5,000. And right now we've hit 80% of that goal in the first 7 hours.
Wow.
That's incredible. Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to do with the resources? What are you going to use the money to do? Besides, I mean, obviously you're going to fulfill a product. But what else are you guys going to do with that? Or is that
so? Kickstarter is useful for a lot of different reasons. Number one is just it's a great market test. You can see what the product feedback is from users. So we've got 100 backers that have purchased product today. So that's a great market test. And then after the campaign's over, maybe we'll have $20,000 in sales or $100,000 or who knows. But yeah, then we have to fulfill all the product, ship it out, and then after that it's back to normal business where you hustle the retail stores or you sell it online, e-commerce, Amazon, and turn it into a real business.
Do you have any idea why the dogs love this toy so much? Have you figured out? I mean, I've not seen anything like it. But I mean, you throw a tennis ball, you throw a Kong, they'll go and chase it. But I don't know what it is about this toy that the dogs seem to like it. Do you just think it's the shape? Do you think the way that it flies through the air? What do you think it is?
Yeah, my co-inventor, Dr. John Hunter, he thinks that it's because dogs have kind of a natural bird prey drive. So they like chasing birds when they see them fly. And it's just got the way that the ring it goes at the perfect speed where it hovers in front of you and just travels not too fast, not too slow, and just makes dogs just want to naturally chase after it. And it's really easy. Each ring only weighs 1 ounce. So even little poodles can fetch it in your mouth and bring it back.
Well, Melody wants to know, have you ever tested it on a cat? Do cats like to chase it?
I haven't tested it on cats yet, but if they can hold the ring, which is only 2 centimeters thick, if you have a fetching cat, yeah.
If they catch it in the air, I see this cat just spinning.
I had a cat that caught birds in the air, so I'm thinking if I still had that cat, she'd love it.
Well, before I let you go, Jeff, to continue with our agenda here in regard to knowing who your market is. Have you guys done any research? Have you decided who it is you're going to market this directly to? Have you narrowed it down to a specific type of person yet? Or are you of the let's just throw it out there and see who buys it?
Probably more of the latter, but I mean, obviously, the retriever type dogs are a little bit more natural. The border collies, the retrievers, German shepherds, the bigger dogs who are already out there, using the chuck it, the tennis balls, the frisbee. It's a natural. crossover for them. So I think that will probably be our primary market.
Right. Well, remember, and I'm just going to just say this, and I know you guys are very smart and you guys know what you're doing, but just remember the dogs don't buy the product, right? So when you're talking about who your market is, you have to think about the people who write the checks, who use their credit card, and make sure that your videos speak to those people that are going to want that for their dog. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about right now, is how do we narrow that down to make sure that our website reflects who's going to buy this product. Are they athletic? Are they in their 20s? Do they go to dog parks? Do they go on doggy dates? Who is it that we're going to market to? And that's really what you want to do, is really kind of hone your marketing so it focuses on that person that's going to spend the money to buy your product. So I hear what you're saying about the types of dogs, but remember, there's a lot of people that aren't athletic that own a Labrador Retriever, right? And so you want to make sure and market to that specific thing. So as you're moving forward, that would be one of my things to throw out to you. And as we go on, that's what we're going to start talking about.
Yeah,
that sounds like a much better strategy than I said.
And just as a case in point, you have part of your target market is here on this Blab. Lex Neville 1 is wants to buy your product but can't because they are an international, and so it's one of those challenges that knowing your target market is, and of course I know you're doing this great market test Kickstarter right now, but it's knowing where your clients are, where your target market is, and also how they're behaving. What are they on something like Blab or Twitter or Facebook or Pinterest, Instagram? Are they on those things? And then, of course, what messages are going to resonate with them? But first, understanding that market is so critical. And it sounds like you're off to a fantastic start. Yeah. I looked at your product and I realized what you've created is that ring that we used to make out of paper that would kind of just flies on its own, and you managed to make it out of dog-friendly foam that goes further. I just want one to play with. Forget the dog. I just want one to play with.
And that's the thing. That's the thing I was telling. Sorry, Jeff.
Right?
Well, different target. But my son, and that's what I was telling the audience that were at our Pet Expo watching our demonstration, is that the reason I love the toy so much is not as much as the dog loving it. That's great. But my son loved using it to exercise the dog. So it gave him another reason to spend time with the dog. When we buy dogs for our kids, and every parent has experienced this, you buy a dog for your kid and the dog is fun for, a couple days. And then once they have to start picking up the poop and feeding the dog and and it just becomes a chore, then, it becomes your dog, the parent. And so what I liked about the toy is that my son really loved using it and still does it today. He loves getting out there with that thing and trying to hit trees with it and trying to hit, me with it when I'm walking by. And then the dog comes over and knocks me down, which is awesome. Everybody laughs. They think it's funny.
And I would suggest, knowing that there's this crowd of people out there who love aerobies, right? Yeah. Who love every permutation that you can create of a Frisbee, and the more high tech and weird and crazy, the better. There's a whole crowd out there probably that would buy it if it had 2 launchers on it, right? You had 2 sets of launchers with the ammo, and they would play catch with it. They would shoot each other, whatever it is that they'll do. But the aerobie crowd, I'll bet you will buy this.
I think you're onto something. I will point out that Winnie mentioned in the chat that videos are a must. And if we get back to the marketing topic of it, that she's right. For something like this that's so active, when you started describing it, that's why I asked for the website, because I wasn't sure what it was. I couldn't picture what you were talking about. And so videos of it, and then, encouraging your customers to send you videos would be another great testimonial, right, of how good the product is. Or maybe the unique things like Everett was talking about that people might do.
Yeah. You might want to have some contest on your Facebook page or something. Somebody, take a video of their dog, chasing after it in these different locations at the beach and that kind of stuff, and then have a winner, once a week who produces the funniest video, or the smallest dog that tries to catch it, or whatever it is. You just have these different criteria. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome advice, guys. Thanks. And I think, video just is the best way to see this product. I just shared the link in there, and I think Andy will share. He's got his link also. He can give that to you guys after. But But yeah, I think one of the main strategies we might do is once we get a base of customers out there, we'll be following up with them and try to engage them on social media to run like a monthly contest, post your own dog, funniest video of them catching the ring, and then whoever gets the most likes or shares gets a free extra pack of rings each month or something like that.
Awesome.
That'll get them on there.
Well, way to go, Jeff. I'm really proud of you. I'm glad I got to know you over the last couple of weeks, and just the best of luck with the product. And I'm sure you and I will be doing something here in the near future.
Thank you guys for having me, and I appreciate all your advice. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Stay tuned. I'm sure we have some other tips for you as we go along. We're going to probably use you as an example.
Perfect. Thanks. I'll be around here watching.
All right. Take care.
Should I hang up?
I'll do it.
All right.
I like hanging up on people. I want to blow you up.
Go for it.
All right. He's off. All right. So one thing, as we find somebody else, whoever you think you might have. Oh, look at Robin Phillips is on here. Robin, you got to take this.
You've made it big time, Andy. You got Robin on here.
Robin Phillips, are you kidding me? You
have arrived.
Turn on your turn. Ask for the seat. But really quick, while he's doing that, and Everett Melody, when he comes on, hopefully he'll come on. Just go ahead and get him on. There he is. What I want to talk about in regard to what I learned about my market is way early on. I was a police officer for 24 years. When I developed my website for Falco Canine Academy, I thought everybody wanted to see explosions, police car chases, gunfire, and that's what my website kind of reflected, right? And so when I started marketing to the pet industry, somebody finally said to me, "Hey, do you realize that if a grandma, that's 65 years old, whether a poodle, want to get pet dog training to you, that when they go to your website, they see your dog's chasing down people, knocking them down and eating them." And I go, you know what? I guess I got to find out who my market is. And I really didn't realize.
Is that your market? The grandma with the poodle, or is it the people that have dogs that want to chase down people?
Right. And so if you go to our website now, Falco Canine Academy, you see a completely different look on my website. And so that's what we're talking about, is knowing your market, who it is that you want to market to, who's going to buy your product, who's going to buy your service. Super, super important. People like Robin Phillips there with his hand.
You have a guest there. Did you see your guest dog?
So Robin Phillips, what do you have to offer here in this discussion about knowing your market? You being one of the gurus of marketing here.
Dude, this is the first Blab. Is that what it's called? The Blab?
Blab. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first one I've been on. I saw your thing in Facebook, so I thought I just got done with the call and thought I'd hop on and do whatever and say, hey, hi guys, Mel,
hi,
Everett,
good. Hi, Robin.
Well, you mind telling the audience who you are and who you work for right now, and how you may be involved in this marketing aspect that we're talking about, knowing your market?
Absolutely, and I'm obviously dressed for the occasion, hat, backwards, and sitting in my backyard.
You're a multimillionaire.
Huh?
They'd never know you're a multimillionaire.
Yeah, right. Can you cuss on this show or no? No.
Are you in your vacation home in Sedona? Is that where you're calling?
Exactly. No, I'm getting ready to leave there, go up to Flagstaff for a couple of days, and maybe hit the Grand Canyon, whatever.
You can say.
All right, guys, go ahead. Tell us who you work for.
My name is Robin Phillips. I work for TP&I, the Pulse Network. It's the company that purchased Instant Customer Traffic from Mike Koenig about a year and a half ago, and love what I'm doing. Helping folks such as the three lovely folks that I'm looking at right now, Mel, Everett, and Andy, helping with the software that we offer to help generate leads, content distribution, social post updating, podcast creation, live events with our live event player. I mean, we do a ton of stuff.
Right. So how does that speak to a market? What would somebody need to know about when they're using your product? What's the key about reaching their market? What do they have to do to get there?
Well, first know who their market is, know who they're targeting, and having the ability to create content. And the way technology is today, I just got a brand new Note 5. I got my wife a brand new Tab 2 Samsung, whatever the tablet is. You could create amazing content just with those 2 devices right there. You don't need, like in the old days, in order to do a really, really nice production, you needed a studio with lighting and the top-notch camera, digital camera. I mean, the phones that Samsung, Apple make now, they are really all you need. Of course, you could do better. You guys have great equipment when I've seen you guys at events. But just knowing who your target market is, and then having to creating content so that you can create that online presence, being able to take that content and send it out to the world in a number of different ways. To give yourself an online presence and start nurturing, bringing folks into your community so that you could start nurturing them and building that trust factor that Andy and I have a great trust factor. We've known each other for many, many years, but building that trust factor between you and the subscriber, because you're never going to sell something to somebody on that first hit, that second touch, that third touch. It could take 7, 8, 10, 12 touches before you sell anything to them. But during that period of time, you're nurturing them, you're teaching them what you have to offer, whether it be a product or a service, and why that product or service is going to help them with whatever problem it is that they searched and found you in the first place.
So Everett, let me ask you first. So how does somebody find their market? So if I'm in the dog training business, which I am, it's more than just saying anybody with a dog, right? Right. So who is who would be somebody's market? So if I was your client, what steps would you tell me to do to find my market?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you've been in business a little while, even just a little while, and you have some customers, one of the things we want to do is start talking about which of those customers have been your best. What are their attributes, and what is their demographic, and start there, rather than trying and of course trying to look at people not just for who wants to buy your product, but who can afford to buy your product. That's really critical as well.
Well, that's the key. You want to sell to people that have money.
Yeah, it does help. And then even, I mean, I like to even look at who's going to be good ambassadors for the product. You know, we were just talking with your friend there with his thing, and we were talking, I was, throwing out the bit about the Aerobie crowd. This is a great thing about a product like that. You get that out in a park, if people see it, it's going back and forth. It's, oh my gosh, it's it reminds me if you ever go down visit Coronado, they've got all these guys shooting these little rubber band launched flighty things that go up sky high and then float down and float down and float down, and it's a magnet. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked. Bright shiny object.
I was just going to draw you back in.
Yeah, thank you. But we often talk about trying to create that avatar of that perfect customer, and knowing who they are, even to the point that you can describe them by name, and their wants. You've discovered their wants, their fears, and the things that they need, and how you're going to bring your product in to help fill those needs. I mean, it's what it's about.
And so I have my perfect customer, my avatar. Her name's Sally Frost, and she has a Newfoundland, and she loves to rescue dogs. She's married. She lives in Huntington Beach in a very nice home. Has the income is somewhere, and I don't know this for sure, but I know it's probably somewhere between the $200,000, $500,000 range. She has organizations that she volunteers her time to. And so I know a lot about her, and that's when I'm creating, which we're going to talk about later, about the media and the message. I create that to sell to her. So I basically have a picture of her, and that's who my market is in the pet side of things. On the detection,
and is she a real person? By the way?
She is a real person.
Okay, all right, because we have clients who will target this based upon a real person. This person that is their favorite customer, their best customer. And then we have others who will basically create that avatar.
Right. And so to bring
I was just going to throw in that as well. You can, you may have that avatar that may be who you're marketing to. You may know that, and you may not. And if you don't, you can use lots of different things to help determine who's attracted to you. So you can do surveys, you can do, if you have a website or you have a podcast or you have some of those kind of things, you can collect that information. Like I'm always surprised when I go out and look at my podcast, I was surprised, not surprised that the United States, the number one downloader, but I was so surprised that the number 2 was Romania. Who would have known? But, if you don't go look at those metrics, you don't realize that you may have another market besides that person out there that you're reaching as well. Right. So,
Robin reminds me of a Jack Russell Terrier. He's looking around through squirrel, bird.
I gotta look at my dog. My kid just opened the door.
Yeah, but before I kick you off, I just wanted, and Everett I know has a point to make here. But if we don't know our market, to use your tools, which you have available with TPNI, which is you have email, you got webcasting, you got the magazine app available, and a bunch of other stuff. Not podcasting. Not everybody. So if your market, say your market's in the 50 to 60-year-old range, they're probably not doing something with a podcast, perhaps, right? And so knowing your market, you have to know your market to know which tools to use to be most effective, right?
Absolutely.
That's all you have to say.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
What?
That's all you have to say? Absolutely.
Well, no, you're absolutely correct. I mean, we've got the tools, and I didn't come on here to promote GP, and I just came in to say it, guys, because I've never done this, and I haven't talked to you guys in quite a while. But no, I mean, our tool or our service encompasses 7 or 8 different services combined into one to be able to do everything under one umbrella using one service. But no, there's always going to be folks that are only using email or only using text messaging or only doing maybe they're using 3 out of the 15 tools that we offer. But as long as they're getting the ROI off of what they're spending every month and they're cool with only using those tools, that's fine. If they want me to teach them or somebody else to teach them how to use the other tools to possibly expand their client base and increase their revenue, hell, I'm all for that, and that's what I do all day long anyways. So, but you're right. Not everybody's going to use every tool. I'd prefer that they did because it is, and it's not just because it's our tools, but just because in order to be found and be noticed, you need to be in as many places as possible. And it's something that Mike talked about a lot, and he still talks about, I'm sure. But you need to be where everybody is, whether it's on podcasting or doing live casting or just on YouTube or Daily Motion or Facebook or Twitter. You need to be in those places because you never know who's going to find you that wasn't even looking for you in the first place. So
awesome. All right, I'm going to kick you off.
It wouldn't be the first time you did that.
But I want to let you know that I want to let everybody know that Robin has a very special place with me, that he was one of the guys that really just was the first step in changing my life. So Robin knows that. We give each other a hard time, but
he's the one that brought you to us, right?
Who made it possible. And I love you and I thank you.
I love you, brother. You guys take care. It's great seeing you, Mel. Great seeing you, Ev.
Good to see you.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Kick him off now. See ya.
Hey, while he's going, I was going to talk about Jeff with his Kickstarter. And Melody, your advice is terrific. It always is. Jeff, go out and survey your Kickstarter people and find out how did they find you? What were they looking for that brought them to you? But also learn about their demographic. The more you can learn about their age, their income, their interests, who they follow.
Yeah,
it's really a huge deal. I mean, for instance, if they follow, if they follow this guy named Andy Falco, then you might message in a certain way. If they really don't like Andy, then you might message in a different way. But that will also tell you about what other products you can bring to them, whether they're products that you create or they're products that other people have created that you can bring to those people. So that's what's great about your Kickstarter campaign, and this is true really for anybody who has a nucleus of clients. Is there's so much information there, so much you can pull out of them.
Yeah. But it still comes down. I just want to make sure that we focus on that market, knowing who you're marketing to is through those surveys is how you're going to narrow that down. And the reason I say narrow it down is because if you're too broad, like we said last Wednesday, is that you're going to market to nobody because you're going to be trying to do stuff that just isn't working, and it's just like it's falling on.
I think that's the key thing. Most people who start in business think they're selling to everybody, right? and you're not. So
great. Hey, can we get Barb on here? Barb, Karmic Media. Karmic Media. Yeah. And take that seat there because she did an interview earlier with me, and I want to. There we go. When we all click on it, does that make it?
Yeah, maybe it takes all three of us, like Wonder Twin powers.
Hey, there she is.
Hello. Started with
hey, Barb.
There she is. Hi, Barb.
Barb did an interview with me and my son earlier this morning, and my son suddenly froze up.
Oh, he got shy.
He did a great job.
I was looking at him, I go, what's going on? He's not even talking. He forgot all the stuff that we had talked about before. But Barb, as we're moving into the next part of our subject today in marketing, or knowing your market, you're just tell us a little bit about what it is you're doing with your organization and what you guys do right now.
Sure. So Karmic Media, we are working mainly with animal shelters, and we do consulting with them. We work with them on their marketing, their fund development, and leadership skills. And we are also launching this product. That's why I was interviewing Andy and his son Kelly today. And the product is called Shelter Kids Club magazine. So it's a digital magazine that will be there'll be 4 issues a year, quarterly issues. And so we market to the animal shelters themselves so that they can then use the magazine to then start up a membership club with kids in their area. So so it's a fun thing that I'm really enjoying working on right now, and I'm getting a lot of great feedback from the shelters that I'm working with.
Awesome. So that's why I brought you on, because I think it's very clear who your market is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's very niched, very niched.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so
and we had a good talk. We had a good talk about her market. Barb joined us at the mastermind retreat we did in the Dominican Republic, and she did a hot seat so we could all make her the center of attention. Right. She kind of laid out her business plan and product and end market, and we had a great time talking that through. And I'm just loving, Barb, watching what you're doing now, to execute on the things that you prepared, and it's great. Keep going. It's awesome.
Can you talk a little bit about what you did? I know we don't want to let too many secrets of the mastermind out, but can you talk a little bit about how you helped her work on that market, or either one of you talked about that process?
Well, Barb, I can throw in here is that we actually did talk a fair amount about the target market, and the beautiful thing is that she is niched, and she knows that market. Now, a lot of people are very tempted to think they know their market because they happen to be part of it. For instance, Andy, you were a dog trainer, so you understand dog trainers, and you do have a huge leg up, but it doesn't mean you think like every other dog trainer, or that you have the same economy as every other dog trainer. And so with Barb, we talked a bit about how she really does have different levels of organization, some of which are strapped and can't pay $50 a month for something, and others that would be willing to invest more substantially. Right. So part of her market was understanding some of that segmentation, and just knowing that if you really do try to price it for everybody in that market, you may not make
Great.
a lot.
So Mel, I'm going to put you on the spot here. So when we're talking about message, what are we talking about? If you know your market, what does that have to do with our message to people?
So when you thanks, like daydreaming here. I mean, once you know your market, it's a little bit easier to know what your message is, because you know who you're talking to, you know what they're looking for, and you can be much more specific in the message that you're putting out there. So that's.
Sorry, if I could jump in. I think, too, that once you really know your market and really delve into, and we've been talking about, knowing their likes, their dislikes, knowing who they're going to vote for, knowing what kind of commercials on TV resonate with them, what books they read, all those sorts of things that you really know about them, the message flows directly from that. You don't even have to put any work into it because you've already put the work into getting to know the market. And they tell you what the message is.
Yep.
And you just echo back what you hear from them. So it's actually probably one of the easiest steps.
Yeah. Once you know your market, because that has to do with the title, right, of whatever your message is, whether it's an email title or a Facebook title. So I know that a lot of our customers have problematic dogs that have, get kicked out of PetSmart, get kicked out of Petco. They're not allowed to go to the doggy daycare anymore. I know that that's a lot of our audience. So some of our marketing starts with, do you have a love-hate relationship with your dog? And that's the title, right? And I know that my market is going to say yes, right? And so then that forces them to go down. So you wouldn't believe how many yeses to that answer, or that question that I get, which then almost forces them, well, I got to read more. What does he have to tell me about this love-hate relationship? And so I think that that's what we're talking about. When you have your market, your title is going to be something that's going to resonate with that type of person that you're talking
It's usually something that's come right out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Right?
Give it right back to them. Yeah. And then they say to you, how do you know me so well?
Well, I was going to say that, Barb. What have you experienced in what you've tried that's worked and not worked? Have you experienced much of that you could share?
So I'm still really in the beginning stages of launching my product. So I haven't, okay. So I've gone out and talked to my market at trade shows, at conferences within my niche. And when I talk to them about what I'm launching, they get so excited because that's exactly what they've been looking for. And again, like you said, I come from in the industry. I was the executive director of an animal shelter for a number of years. And so I know what those pain points are. I know what, they experience on a day-to-day basis. And so those pain points that I experience, that's what I'm working into my message, right? When I talk to people and then asking them about what their needs are. And so far, I've been hitting home runs with that kind of thing. But it's also been really interesting too, because as I get out there and I'm talking to them, they're bringing up other things that I never even thought of. And it's kind of like, and so sometimes they'll ask me, can we do this with the product? And, it's something that I didn't even think of and thought, and you immediately on the spot go, sure. Right. And then you're thinking to yourself, the wheels are turning like, okay, how am I going to incorporate that now into this product? Or, if it makes sense even to do that. So, talking to the market and constantly talking to them is crucial.
Right.
I would, kind of add to that a little bit, Barb, because you bring up a great point, is that people will be excited about what you're doing, right? They ultimately need to vote with their pocketbook. Right. And that's what's beautiful about, like, for instance, the Kickstarter. Now he's got 100 people voting with his pocketbook, or with their pocketbooks. But the other part is that you have to also be careful about your message, that you try not to be because everyone's going to come to you with that, this is great. What would make it really great is if you had this. And you have to weigh that so carefully, because otherwise you'll get sucked down this road of always adding this and that and the other. When you think about some of the tools that we use online that try to do everything and do not, and really don't do any one thing very well, because they were responding so much to the, will it do this? Will it do that? That type of thing. And then I think I'm trying to think of an example, but
well, Everett, I think that brings you back to your knowing your market. So your market. That, I mean, everybody's gonna have their idea. So if somebody's saying something and you go back and go, well, this is my market, that doesn't fit. So
well, then we go back to the In-N-Out Burger kind of experience where
perfect.
Love In-N-Out Burger. Can you see me?
Really just you know what, you would make a great chicken sandwich.
Exactly.
We make great burgers.
Well, that's Chick-fil-A, right? They only do chicken. They know what they do. So.
And everyone's come to them with gone in and out. Why don't you guys make chicken sandwiches? Why don't you guys make ice cream sundaes? And why can't I get a frosty cone?
Yeah. And that's happened to me with my business, where I began to get sucked in and adding, we're going to do agility, and then we're going to do fly ball, and we're going to do And then, I can't do all of those well. I can only do, maybe two or three, well, maybe one thing well, but I can do, a couple other things. And you got to be careful because you can get sucked into doing all this other stuff.
Absolutely. And so you have to be really clear on your mission, right? Yeah. And always go back to that and really see, because you don't want to be changing your mission every 2 seconds based on, different things you're hearing in the market or different markets. But you really have to have everything flow from that. So
great. Hey, Barb, I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
I see we have your Facebook page up there. Is there another way you want people to get a hold of you to see if they can't get involved in what it is you're doing?
I can put up when I get kicked off. I can, but before I get kicked off, I want to do the Brady Bunch thing, and up, down, side.
Well, apparently, but we don't have 9 windows. We only have 4.
We have to use Zoom to get the whole Brady Bunch.
All right, Barb.
I can put up my website.
All right, do that.
Yeah, I couldn't find your website. I can only find Facebook, which looks like a brand new page. So maybe you'll get a couple people to like it there. So.
Andy, look down. This will work.
Hey, I see where you're looking. Stop looking there.
Looking to the right side.
Hey.
All right, Barb. We love having you. Thank you for this morning for the interview, and
thank you.
We'll be following you. And I actually work in a rescue, so I'm going to be contacting you to see how we can do some work together. All right.
Okay. Good. All right, thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, guys. So next, go ahead, Everett.
I was going to say, where you're transitioning, if anybody's watching the Blab and you're new to Blab, you can actually choose to follow any of the people that come on. If you look up next to their name, there's a little icon of a person, and if you click on it, you will then be following that person on Twitter. So as we get guests and things, please make sure to do that.
Winnie was asking a question about, is there a tripod you recommend for using with smartphone? And really, it's just about the holder. Yeah, you need to worry about it. You want one that's going to do both landscape and the other one, profile,
portrait.
Yeah, and
good one, Everett.
Yeah, it'll fit on any tripod. The one thing that I like, I have this clippy monopod. It clips onto anything. That I use that more than any tripod I've ever used in my entire life, because I could clip it onto a table edge. I could clip it onto
the side of a van. I've seen you clip it on the side of a van. Yeah.
But in addition to a tripod and a monopod, get that clippy pod. I just renamed it a clippy pod because that is the thing.
It's that gorilla pod kind of deal where it's got the different.
Yeah. Oh no, it's got actual like a clamp that you squeeze, and it's really strong and sturdy, and it's got one of those gooseneck things that it's very. I don't have it. I was looking for it. I think it's in my truck.
Is it a holder, or is it like a tripod that goes onto a holder?
Well, you can put anything, a camera, just put on.
So it's a tripod that has a clip on it, kind of thing.
Just a single though. It's not. There's no tri.
Oh, no tri. It's a monopod. I now heard you.
Right. Hey, I saw Jen, book writing one. Can you come back on there or come on with us, Jen? Because you said you weren't going to be here, and you're here.
While she's getting in here, the other thing that's great is some of the selfie sticks now will have a little tripod base on them. And so that can be really great. So you can use it as a selfie stick, or you can stand it up. The one challenge I've found, though, is that they're not very tall. And so unless you're setting them on something, you're going to get this shot that's down below you that's not really all that flattering, as I've discovered the hard way.
You need it from the top.
Here she comes.
The show you.
It's Jen. Hi, Jen.
How's it going?
I thought you weren't going to be here.
I got my time zones mixed up.
All right.
Now I'm ready.
You got a different hairdo since Wednesday.
Oh, well, I just have it behind my ears.
Oh.
Me too.
Yeah, both Everett and I have it behind our neck, apparently.
Yeah, mine's really a mullet. I just try not to show you.
All right, I got to reel it back in. Let me reel it back in.
Good job on the content so far. You guys are talking about some really great stuff.
Oh, cool. Thank you. So we talked about our market. We talked about our message. Not a lot about our message, but we got the gist of that. And now I want to talk about media. That's why I want to bring Jen in, because we have some media people here that once you've decided who your market is, who you're going to market to, and what your message is going to be, you have to decide what media you're going to use to speak to them. And that includes everything, I think, from social media to video media to book media, podcast, audio books, all this kind of stuff. How does somebody choose what media to speak to their market? Anybody?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, you know, on Wednesday I talked about the book publishing and using that type of media to promote your business. But my background is actually in video marketing and in local marketing and in social media marketing. So it's hard to just pick one, but you can think about what you guys were talking about earlier is who is your market and where are they? So for social media, for example, when you're picking on what media should I use, well, there's so many social media channels. There's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. What's the other one? House. You know, people have a lot of. I don't know if you've heard of House. It's the a lot of people haven't heard of House, and it is like Pinterest, but it's just for people who are in real estate, contracting, building houses, everything to do with houses and homes and outdoor and kind of construction type stuff. So if you're building a house, you would go to House to look for a contractor or for ideas for your house or ideas for any of that kind of stuff or any type of building. Anyway, a lot of people don't know about that one, but it's really popular. So you really want to go to where your demographic is. So when they start building a social media network just for dogs, then you can go there, Andy.
Dogs.
There are. Yeah, there are.
Dogs with the D.
Because not everybody reads books, right? And so if you're marketing in that media, you know, then you go to them. What about you, Mel, with your webcasting?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing today with technology is, you know, if you do we'll use a webinar, you do a webinar, you do a Blab, you can then take that video or that audio and put it onto YouTube. And Blab actually has a link that'll let you stick it right onto YouTube. You could take the audio, which I do a lot of times, and put it onto your podcast. You can transcribe it and make blog entries. You could transcribe it and make a book. I mean, so technology makes it pretty easy to share as well. So I know I have certain, like, I use LinkedIn for my job. And when I put anything on LinkedIn, I automatically have it put on Twitter. I mean, I just, you know, it has a button and I put it there. So you don't have to get too concerned with only doing one. You just kind of have to look at which ones have your audience. You know, is LinkedIn the right place, or House, as you said, the right place? You know, where's your audience at? And sometimes you have to test it a little bit, but.
And I would say that the same principle applies not just to online marketing, but also offline.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I've seen people go do trade shows, for instance, just totally excited that, my target market's going to be there and stuff like that. When, you know, then they pick really the wrong kind of trade show. And they find themselves really spending a lot of time and money trying to cultivate relationships with the wrong people. So yeah, knowing where they are. The other part is knowing who already has your audience, and getting under. We talk about getting underneath that audience. So, for instance, if somebody follows Cesar Millan, if Cesar Millan has your audience for your product that you have, let's say within the pet industry, then doing something with Cesar Millan or finding ways to advertise alongside Cesar Millan would be really valuable. And of course, online, heck, you can do video marketing with YouTube, and you can do Google AdWords, where you're targeting specifically his pages. And so your stuff shows up there, even if you're a competing product or a competing expert or something like that. So who's got your audience, and get alongside them or underneath them.
Is it kosher to, for instance, in Facebook, if Cesar Millan is the target, the audience for Cesar Millan is the target, is it kosher to put stuff in your message that says, if only Cesar Millan did this one thing, he'd be a better dog trainer? I mean, I've heard of people doing that in their book narratives for Amazon, putting other people's names to try, like Tony Robbins, if you're in the marketing business. Is that kosher? What do you call that? Is it?
Well, I'm not Jewish, so I have a hard. I don't know what.
Where's Yael when you need her?
Is it proper? Yeah. Is it advisable?
I think the answer is it depends. As much as I hate to say it, I think it does. I think a lot of people struggle with, like I'll use a simple example. On Facebook, if you have a Facebook group, it's not uncommon for somebody to come on and start promoting their stuff. Now, if their stuff's a compliment to what you're doing, you probably don't mind. But if your stuff is a competitor to what you're doing, you're probably going to kick them off. And then if their stuff has nothing to do with your group, you're definitely going to, delete it. So, it's having some discernment to know the difference between those things and where you're going.
Right. But you did a great question, Andy, and you see this all the time if you do a web search, like you're trying to research a product. Somebody out there is going to have a blog. Let's say they're researching you, right? Someone's going to have a blog out there, get the real truth about Andy Falco, or the things you need to learn about Andy Falco before you buy his products, or whatever. And the irony of it is you'll go to those thinking that you're going to get some really good dirt on Andy. And instead what you find is a sales page to buy Andy's products, but it's on an affiliate link, or something like that. Right. They're like, oh, they're going to buy Andy's stuff. I want them to buy it through me.
Right.
We've all seen the slimy stuff, I'll say. People do.
Yeah, I've seen that used as a strategy often. And I think that, I've heard that my voice sounds like George Clooney, and so in some of my stuff I'll put something. If you want to hear George Clooney, that's fine, but I sound like George Clooney, and then I'll say, but that word George Clooney is often searched, right? So just having it in there is a search optimization thing, and so that's why I asked, because even though George Clooney is not a dog trainer,
you're probably not hurting George Clooney though, and you're not competing with them.
Right.
And so by doing that, it's clever, I think, and you do kind of sound like him. I'll have to think about that. But
I want to know, Andy, why is it that you talk about how you sound like George Clooney, but you don't want to go with the bit about looking like Jack Nicholson? Why is
Okay, one more thing about this media thing before we get off topic. She's turning towards me. In locating and not locating, in deciding what media is best for your audience, what if you find out that your the media is video, and as a business owner or a product provider, you go, I don't know anything about video, right? But yet their market is all on the media, on the video side of things, like YouTube and Vimeo and all that kind of stuff. What can somebody like that do? Do they just get over it and start videotaping themselves? Is that one aspect, or what?
Sure.
What's the thing?
Well, I have a few tips. I mean, of course, there's going to be different levels, because if you know your audience is watching video, then you can go and hire someone to do the video if you have the funds to do that. Right. If you don't have the funds to do that, there's ways around it. You can learn ways to buy cheap videos. For instance, I mean, you guys all know, and we can let our audience know, Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, has great resources. You might pay more than $5, but you could get a video there. I know a lot of my clients have great landing page videos that they bought off of Fiverr, and some spokesgirl spoke for them. Or you can do a slideshow type video where it's just pictures of your product or pictures of your stuff using something maybe like Animoto.com, which I use a lot, that has royalty-free music and all this great stuff. Or you can do voiceover right on the app that you can, talk instead of having your face. But I would just suggest get over it and be on.
Yeah, I'll add one in there because we talked about it earlier. Get your customers to do videos too.
Yeah.
If you've got a product like our earlier guest has, who's your best advertisement? It's people that are using your product and willing to do the videos for you. Mm-hmm. Or do Doritos, offer $1 million and see what kind of videos.
Yeah, you can do contests for sure with video. You can put out a contest to say, submit your videos of how you used our specific product, and then you'll have 20 or maybe 100, even thousands of videos that you can put up on your YouTube channel. Or you can just pick so many that are good and then give out your prize.
Nice.
It's a great idea.
That's some good stuff right there.
Good job.
John Cody just shared in the tip too that one of his clients is interviewing 3 of his best clients as part of the story to fill in the how and how not to do something. So yeah, great idea.
Yeah.
Look at John Cody knowing something.
Well,
yeah, and he's on his deathbed, right? I mean, we're not even sure he's going to live through the night and to come and join us.
Yeah. Well, I think, Andy, you were talking earlier about, or on Wednesday, about how we were going to talk about the 10 by 10 by 4. And that's something that we've all learned, which is what do you put on the video? So a simple thing to do, and we all know this, but a lot of people don't, is just come up with your top 10 frequently asked questions and your top 10 should ask questions. Yeah. Write those all down and then write answers for all of them. And then you've got 20 videos right there.
What's a should ask question? I don't understand what that is.
Well, a should ask question would be, what do they need to know that you want them to ask that no one ever asks? So, I mean, there's always frequently asked questions, but if they knew something else, they wouldn't have to ask that frequently asked question. Or if they knew something about your product, then they would buy it, right there if they knew that. So that's your should ask questions. And like John Cody is saying, if you get your best clients to video those shoulds and shouldn'ts, that's really good too. What you should do with this product, what you shouldn't do with this product, or that type of stuff.
And then what's the 4?
The 4 is you submit a video per week. Some people do more than that, but you want to at least have a consistency with your videos. So if you have 20 videos out there, you could do 2 a week or you could do 1 a week. You just want to be consistent uploading so that SEO people Google will look at you and want to show your videos. Because they know you just didn't upload 20 and then 2 years later upload 1. You got to be consistent, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Consistent in anything you're doing, for sure.
Yeah.
Podcasting, webcasting, videos, all of it.
Yeah.
I just often use just 10 by 10 because that 4 is confusing. I know it was confusing for me, but I like the way that you.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, it was, Google really liked the one video a week. And now, it's so much easier with our new iPhones and all the new ways to record that it's easy to do your 20 videos like that, or hire a videographer, get it done in 3 hours or 2 hours. And you've got professional videos, 20 professional videos. You could upload them all in a month if you wanted, 4 a week, right? Or 4 in 5 weeks. So that would be a fast way to do it. And then, of course, transcribing those videos, putting them into a book or a podcast or a blog, repurposing content.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's another thing about the media is you're right. There's no reason that your content can't be created in multiple different media, and so yes, that video becomes a book. That book becomes Kindle. It becomes a podcast. It becomes an audio book. You break it up and it becomes articles, or it becomes press releases, or just and on and on and on. I just wanted to expand just a little bit on your should have asked questions, on your should ask questions. I really emphasize with my clients that the frequently asked questions are what people ask. The should have asked questions are the ones that if they really knew what they were talking about, that's what they would be asking. So a great example is with cars. People are like, how many horsepower does that car have? Well, that's a question that they ask, but they should be asking is how much torque does it have? Yeah. Okay. Or,
how many crashes the car has been. What's great about those too is that also those are the questions that allow you to really show your expertise. And, and so I just really emphasize those should have asked questions. And that's a great content creation model that you laid out for us, Jen. I really appreciate it.
I wanted to add on there too, because if this is new to them, or we're talking about repurposing, I know when I started hearing this, I'm like, well, they've already seen my blog. Why would they listen to my podcast? And the truth is that you're going to get different people that are looking for your stuff in different places. So typically people aren't going to see your blog and your podcast and your webinar and your YouTube video and your articles, and they're going to find you one place. And if you're in that one place, they'll find you. But if you only go to one place, then you won't get the people that don't go to that one place. So. Right.
That's why I tell all my clients, and I know some of our mentors have told us before with social media, pick like the top 3 or the top 5 social media sites that you think your target audience is on. And a lot of my clients say, well, I don't know anything about Twitter and I don't want to do Twitter. And I say, well, I think you should have a Twitter just so you have the presence. And with the technology today, like you said, every time, Melody, every time you post to LinkedIn, you click on post to Twitter. Yeah. So there's a trick you can do for Facebook. If you don't have a Twitter account or you don't post to Twitter regularly, you can set up your Facebook. If you post to Facebook all the time, you just type in facebook.com/Twitter, and then you can link a new Twitter account or that Twitter account for your business. And every time you post to Facebook, it posts to Twitter. So it looks like you're active on Twitter, even though you're not really. And
that's exactly what I do in my husband's Facebook page. It automatically goes to his. I don't even think he knows he has a Twitter account.
Yeah, exactly. And then just set up the notifications on Twitter so they don't email you 100 times, but just set up the ones where if someone mentions you or somebody sends you a private message, and then you'll be able to respond to those people.
I see Everett doing that right now because he just shared with me the other day that he sent his very first tweet.
Yeah, good job, Everett. Yeah, so.
Hey, you didn't have to rap. You didn't have to out me.
Well, what's cool about it is
until you said that, people might have thought I'd been on Twitter like I was a founding member.
Oh yeah, you're a Twitter expert.
Well,
yeah, I'm upset.
Well, Twitter is a certain demographic, and you've got a certain age group there. And if you kind of miss that age group, you're not really there. And Twitter, they want you to post at least 5 times a day for businesses, and some of us just don't have the time. So if we're posting once a day or 3 times a week on Facebook, at least that's getting posted to Twitter, and you're good. And you can link that to your personal or your page. So
yeah.
This is a perfect example of media and where your market is.
Yeah.
I actually, for years, avoided social media like the plague because of the time suck, right? It just, you can get so pulled into it, and I decided I didn't need it.
Yeah.
But there came a time, and honestly, it was around building our mastermind retreat when I realized that all of the people that I wanted to be at our mastermind retreat, the best way to reach them was not email, it was instant messaging on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I had to adapt my media communication to my market. It's the same reason I've avoided Twitter like the plague, because I only have time for, how much social media time do we have?
Right.
But again, adapting it now to Twitter, mainly because of Blab, frankly. Yeah. So it's, again, changing the media to match where the market happens to be.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
That's really good.
Hey, Jen, can you go ahead and type in there again your contact information for Hot Chicks Write Hot Books or jenthelegend.com or whatever that is.
Publishing.
whatever your favorite thing is. And although you are far more attractive than Everett, I'm going to kick you off. And you've been fantastic. The information you gave today is fantastic, and I hope that you will continue to join us because you just have a ton of information. But I just really appreciate you taking the time and realizing that it's a different time zone than what you were thinking.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad I came back.
It's been great having you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. All right. Before we sign off, and we're going to sit here in is it kibitz? Is that another Yiddish? Yeah.
I think so.
You're really
tonight, Andy.
I don't know why. I was born Catholic, and now I don't even know what I am. So if there's anybody in the pet industry that's on right now that needs clarification for anything that we were just talking about earlier, just go ahead and let us know that you want to come on, and maybe we can help clarify a couple things. But I thought this was a pretty powerful session that we had with the things we talked about. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. And thanks for keeping us going through, keeping us on topic.
Yeah, I think the whole, market message media that's the theme tonight, right? So yeah. I think that's new. It was new to me when I heard it that way. I think that's something people think about the media first. I think typically I'm going to go, do a Blab. But you really do need to know you need to know the first 2 things before you get to the Blab.
Right. Well, the thing was that when I didn't realize this, for the first 15 years of my business, think being a cop, you think you know everything. So obviously I could run a business, right? And so so I go into business and I'm marketing to myself. Everything that I did was what I liked, right? What I wanted, what I liked, I put on my website. What I wanted to post on far as Facebook is what I liked. And then I wasn't marketing to my market, who I was looking for, pet people that had pets that had problems, right? Shooting them, with a bazooka and then running them over with one of my police cars, I would have got that kind of person. But that
might not have been the type of people you wanted to attract either. I don't know. I don't know your business.
Right. But when I changed it, again, that was just one of, I think, about 10 things. And I'm going to later on do a talk coming up, which you guys are going to be at, which I just got invited to talk. talk about the 10 things that changed my life. And these 10
cool.
things. And what we're talking about today was 3 of those things. Realizing that I was marketing to myself, which there's not a lot of people like me, apparently, because I was.
You can say that again.
And so, but we do that, right? We do that because we think everybody must like what I like, right?
Of course.
I like Dancing with the Stars. I like, The Voice, and hockey.
Just please don't tell me you like The Bachelor. That's all I got to say.
No, that's Everett.
Okay,
that's everything.
Okay, then I still like you.
Let's see, who can we bring back on just for a second? Because I'm just want to do one more thing. There's somebody else on here that let's see. Barb was really.
I'm going to tell you, I have to bail.
Okay, never mind.
No,
we got to go. Then I guess we're going to end it. I was just looking.
It's Friday night, man. He probably has a hot date, Andy.
I'm going to end it on my account.
He's married. He doesn't have a hot date, and I'm not there, so it can't be me.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's true. You got a point there.
All right, guys. Well,
now I really need to go.
I really appreciate you guys. Melody, you do a great job of. I don't know how you talk and type at the same time because I see you talking. And then all of a sudden I see something pop up. I don't know how you do that.
It's 15 years of webinar experience I've learned.
It's amazing. You're looking at the screen and all of a sudden I see something and go, wait a minute. I just saw you were talking and looking at me.
I have a movable keyboard. See?
Well, we have quite the audience. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of about 45 people, I think. I'm not sure how to read how that is, but I'm so glad you guys decided to watch us and take time out of your day to listen to us chat about some of these things. And hopefully what we've given you is valuable and very useful for you. So if anything that you want to know about what it is we're doing, go to one of our Facebook pages and type us a private message. At least me. Don't bug these other 2 people. Just bug me and let us know what it is you want to hear, especially in the pet industry. That would be awesome because that helps me, obviously. So this is a 2-way street. If I can help you with something that you're doing, maybe you'll want to link to something that we have to offer, some project that we have going on, and we just help each other out. All right. Everett, you got anything before you go on your hot date?
No, it's been great. Thanks.
Make sure and put your information on there. So if anybody needs to write a hot book with a hot man instead of a hot chick, that'd be great. And Melody, the queen of webinars, go ahead and put your information into that way people can be sure and find you when they want to do a webinar. Do you have anything to add before we sign off?
No, John, Cody put a message in there for you. You might want to look at it to talk about, might talk just a moment about Periscope and what you're doing. So I don't know if you want to do that or not.
Yeah, well, Periscope, all of these, the Blab, the Periscope, the Meerkat, all these things have been very, very valuable to me, going on live and talking about what it is we're doing. I had a membership site that was just kind of stopped at about, I don't know, maybe about 30 or so people had signed in. And then I decided, let's see how Periscope moves the needle and some of this other live stuff, some webcast and things like that live. And then once I started doing Periscope and there's other things, it moved it considerably. I got like 70 new opt-ins within the next couple days. So connecting with my audience, getting them to know me a little bit better, I think allowed them to feel comfortable, giving me their money to go in there and watch videos that would help them and their dog. So for me, Periscope, but being able to do it on a regular basis, that's tough. And so
I would add in there too, because I think sometimes it's overwhelming. We talk about all these different things, and I know for me, I've tried a lot of them. And then I've only kept doing the ones that work for me.
Yep.
So I don't want people to go, I got to go do all 42 of these things they said. No, you try one, give it a little. Do it 2 or 3 times at least, and get an idea if your audience is there. And if they are, then you'll know, and you can continue it. If they're not, then stop.
Right. So. But then you got to be mindful that you got to do it more than once.
Exactly. It's not a one time, because you might be the wrong time of day, the wrong day of the week. Maybe people are busy that particular day. And then, when I was doing a lot of webinars, I was surprised. Friday night, even later than this, I ended up doing a couple just because with my schedule, I didn't have time to do them at another time. Mm-hmm. And I had a tremendous amount of people on. Even Blabs. I've done Blabs later than this on a Friday night. Maybe my audience has nothing to do on Friday night. I don't know. But, hey, I obviously I don't either. So they're my people. What can I say?
Yeah. With a glass of wine, little fire in the background, for the ambiance.
Exactly. Got the fire at the Falcos.
Right. And one other thing, you mentioned something about the number of audience, and sometimes it's deceiving. So on Periscope, you want to not be discouraged that it only says 2 at the top.
Yeah.
When you sign up, you'll see that there's other people watching on their computer that don't get registered. So there actually might be 15 or 20. And what's important to know about who's watching is that's who you're selling to. Those are one of those things that we call qualified, potentially qualified customers. If they're sticking around to listen to what it is you're talking about, then that's obviously who you want to sell to, right? And that's just one of those qualifying factors, that if they're sticking around listening to your entire message, then that's probably somebody you want to connect with, and that's valuable. Just whatever those two people could buy all your products and stay long-term customers for a long period of time. So don't get discouraged by whatever your audience is watching. Cool. Did I do a good job, John?
He didn't put anything else, so you either hit it or he's given up on you.
I hope that was it. But give it a shot, get on there. And I think one last thing that I got to say about video. Not everybody, again, like I said, feels comfortable on video, but you just got to get on there and do it, and get, just get on there, start talking.
Yeah.
I know I used to say a lot more than I do now. I still do, but not quite as much as I used to, because I've just done it now. And I get just as irritated as you do when I hear myself say or
by doing video, you'll see those things. Like I know I do I do so is my word of choice as well. So you'll start seeing that, and you'll catch yourself, and you'll break those habits. And I could tell you, I actually recorded a video yesterday for a virtual summit next week, and I hated editing it because I'm looking at myself and listening to myself, going through, picking out all those. I have learned when I do videos like that, I slow myself down, and I take really long breaths, and I will pause. And so then I have to go edit them all out, but it makes it a lot easier to edit it. Right. And I don't say so much, because I'm not trying to tie stuff together like I do normally when I'm talking.
Or have a co-host. And that's one of the reasons why I like having co-hosts, because when I can't think of another damn thing to say, I go, Mel, do you have anything else?
Well, sure. Let me say.
And then I throw you under the bus, and you got to come up with something. And so, but that works for me. I love having a co-host. Everett and I have done a few things together with Experts News Network and that kind of stuff. The only thing before I sign off that I'm very upset is that out of all the people that are on, I had the lowest numbers of props. And I don't know why that is. Is it my shirt?
Well, somebody's boosting you up right now. Well, there's two of them, because I see different names. So
haircut.
You're getting pity paws now. That's what it is.
What am I? What's one of the candidates that has like very low? What am I? One of those guys?
Well, Everett wasn't going to give you any applause, so you didn't get any love from him.
Hey, Mel has more than I do. I need to have the most if we're going to.
I just have one more.
One more. Can I give myself one? Maybe no.
Here, I'll give you one, and we can be tied. How's that? Somebody gave you one. Now you're ahead.
All right, I'm going to sign off before that changes. All right, guys, again, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Send us your ideas, or send me your ideas on Twitter or Facebook, and we'll try to continue this discussion. But because I'm having a good time doing it. And
it's fabulous. I love getting on with you guys. It's fun.
All right, guys, have a great night and a great weekend. We will see you sometime next week. Take care.
Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.